Good morning. Welcome back to the Bible for Breakfast with Pastor Mark. I'm Pastor Mark. As you can see, I have a little bit of a different setup today. I'm excited about this interview, this conversation that I get to have with my wife. We recorded it earlier this morning, and I'm going to split it into two. So when you're watching, it's going to have a cliffhanger to it at the end of today, and you'll have to come back tomorrow to watch the rest of it. But this is a conversation Chris and I are going to have about our marriage and about how the Lord has given us some principles to live by to be able to flourish in our marriage. And so I pray that this will be a blessing to you. I always want the Lord to be able to use whatever in my life to be a blessing to others. And my wife is definitely the greatest blessing that he's ever brought into my life. So I'm excited that I get to share her with you. And I hope that you will really benefit from a lot of the trials that we've been through, a lot of the fun that we've had together, and just that you'll be blessed. So enjoy. And come back tomorrow for the second part. Good morning. Welcome back to the Bible for Breakfast with Pastor Mark. I'm Pastor Mark, and this is my wife, Kristen. I've asked her to come back so that we could, well, the first time she interviewed me, and so I think it's time to interview her. And she has a lot of very interesting things to say. She has a lot of wisdom over the years.
And it might be a little dangerous.
Yeah. She says whatever comes to the top of her mind.
Not much filter.
Which is a really good quality to have for a pastor's wife, evidently. It really endears you to the congregation when stuff just flies out of your mouth. So,
yeah.
Well, I want to talk to you about marriage, and we had a lot of feedback the last time we did this, and there were a number of people that said it was a blessing to them and that they wanted to see more of it. So we thought about what could we talk about, and one of the things that we've seen over the years is that the Lord has set us apart, and that for whatever reason he gave us a blessing of a marriage. And unfortunately, it seems that that's unusual. I don't want us to be unusual. I mean, I don't think we have a choice of being unusual. We're just not normal people. But as far as our marriage, I would love it to be ordinary, but evidently it's not. And so I wanted to ask Kristen to come on so that we could talk about what is it that God has done that we have such a strong marriage. So first of all, why don't you tell him how long we've been married and just things like that? Yeah, because I can't remember. We've been married so long, my brain has turned to mush.
33 years we've been married.
34 this August.
Is that right?
See,
yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I even know when our anniversary is. So, okay, let me ask you, what were your expectations, I guess, going into marriage? What did you think it would look like?
You mean like childhood expectations?
Yeah, like growing up. Like I'm told that every girl thinks about her wedding and things like that.
Well, that's just it. I think we think more about our wedding than our marriage.
Yeah.
I'm of the age that when I was a teenager, we had this magazine called 17, and the ads in it were for silverware and bridesmaids dresses and china patterns. And so I picked out my china pattern. And I mean, I remember when I was a little girl playing pretend of, my prince coming and sweeping me off my feet, kind of pretend times.
So you go from a prince sweeping you off your feet to some heathen Jew boy.
Yeah, that's the route I took.
Not the way you should do things, ladies.
Well, I didn't do things the way I should have done things to have the prince story, But God had grace and mercy upon us. and he had a plan for us. But I think the way you introduce this is right and wrong, because I believe that, and as you do, that
I don't know where
marriage
we're going.
is yeah, I know, but you're gonna agree anyway in just a second, okay? That marriage is for the glory of God, and
I do agree.
it's not just for us. That there's a bigger picture, but we'll probably get to that later in this.
Okay, so you grew up with this idea, and just for everybody to know, what was it like at home growing up?
My dad died when I was 6, and my mom is amazing, and she went back to school to become an anesthetist, and her mom lived with us until I was 17, I believe, and she passed away. So I was raised by two very loving women. The only really strong male figure in my life besides deacons at church was my Uncle Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
So
A strong, quiet,
quiet. He was
quiet
very
man.
quiet. I mean, I knew his personality, but he was quiet. He was a strong, silent type, I
Right.
would say.
So he was the quiet type, and then
But very much like a pillar of the church.
okay, but
So I
you
didn't
find
have like
me.
a
You
good
find me.
man.
Was I quiet?
No.
So were you trying to find somebody that was the exact opposite?
No, I think really why I fell in love with you was because I never had to wonder. Like, you had no filter either.
No.
Like, whatever you thought is what you said. I knew how you felt about things. I didn't have to wonder if you loved me like I loved you, or what you thought about X, Y, or Z, because it was just out there, and there was no question. So
from the beginning, what would you say?
are we talking
Was
about
the
marriage?
strength of, well, I mean, we are talking about marriage, right? But we're talking about how we got to that
Okay.
place first. There's a method to
Okay,
this.
okay.
So from the beginning, what would you say the strength was? Because you're describing you grew up without a dad, didn't
Yeah.
know what married couples look like
You
on a
didn't know what
day-to-day
happily
basis.
married
Right.
couples
So
look
I grew
like.
up with 3 dads. And so I come from a family, just broken family. My mom and I for my first few years, and then different husbands that she had. And then finally, I was raised by my stepdad. Grew up Jewish, didn't have any idea of what a Christian family was like. None of the things that you would have thought if we had a good marriage and a good family, we would have started off on this foundation. Well, we didn't
Right.
have that foundation.
Right.
And so is there a key, you think, to even when we were dating that gave us an opportunity that maybe a lot of people don't have at the beginning? And you mentioned it when I feel like our old Sunday school teacher that used to throw these questions out and we'd never know where he was going.
Well, I feel like there's one answer I'm supposed to answer,
Right,
and
right.
I'm trying to figure out
Communication.
what is
Communication.
that one, because I don't know. I might be sick. Can you
Communication.
just tell me what?
Communication. I'm telling you right now. So you said you never had to worry what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You blurt things out, I blurt things out. Neither of us ever seem to have a filter.
Right.
I think we do
did.
a lot more now.
Our communication was sometimes spicy.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't always like it is now. Like, definitely we've been more conformed into the image of Christ in our the way that we communicate with each other, and the tenderness with which we hold each other's hearts after you being saved and us being, sanctified for the past 33 years together. But we didn't never quit talking until we got it talked out. And
Right.
like, if we didn't understand each other because we were coming to each other with two very different viewpoints of the world, of later of parenting, of morality, godliness, marriage, expectations for work,
We didn't. We were
everything
not.
was very
Just so you
different.
know, we were not on the same viewpoint on
How we spent money?
much of anything.
No,
Really, I mean, we come from very,
no,
very different viewpoints.
right.
And
And so
do you
but we
remember our
just didn't
honeymoon?
even stop talking until we felt sure that the other person
Hmm.
understood what we were trying to say,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Whether they agreed or not, but at least you heard me. Like,
Hmm.
and I guess stubbornness probably led to
A
that
lot of
somewhat. Yeah.
stubbornness. So do you remember our honeymoon?
Mm.
We we drove through Texas.
Yeah.
And we joke about that all the
Like
time.
2 weeks of driving,
Well, a week. It was a week.
a year
It
of
felt like
driving.
a year. So we literally were in the car for a good 8-10 hours a day, and we drove all over the place in Texas
And looked at stuff.
and looked at stuff. and and what that did for us was that whole week was just conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of time. You run out of things to play on the radio or on. It used to be a tape deck, and I remember our biggest argument.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it.
great.
Here we are married, and
33 years later, he remembers the argument on the honeymoon. This is part of the thing.
don't remember
I don't remember anything. I never remember anything.
Come on, you remember this argument? It was about schools.
Oh, private versus public.
Yeah, I grew up in Florida, and I'm like, hey, public school was great. You learn everything you need, and you don't have to pay anything. And
We live in New Orleans.
yeah, and she grew up in New Orleans, and so
Well, I grew up kind of privileged. I'll just say privileged.
Mhm.
It really was, and able to go to private school. So, I had a very different viewpoint about
very
that.
different viewpoint. And it was interesting of all the things we talked about, how many kids we're going to have. And we had most of these
Well, we
conversations
talked about their
before.
names
Right.
before we ever got married.
But so we had most of these conversations, and then we stumble upon this one, and it was almost like, oh, we're not going to be able to be married. Like on our honeymoon, like, no, this is a deal breaker. Private school versus public school.
Wow.
And yet we talked our way through it.
Yeah.
And I started to understand your viewpoint about it. I just grew up in a very different system. I'm wanting to share all this to say that a lot of times couples will get into, they'll get married, and then they'll say a little bit later, wait, we're nothing alike. There's no way this is going to work.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to encourage those who may be in that situation. We were nothing alike.
Yeah, but
Okay, go ahead.
I think one thing about communication is there's some ways we're still nothing alike. And we're never going to be alike.
Right.
And there's some things in marriage, there's like communication ruts you get into sometimes
Okay.
where there's triggers and or there's a behavior like if one person does this, the other person always, I don't know, always, the bad word.
Always.
Always responds this way, and you almost always, and then you get into this thing, and then you end up, you're like, here we are again. How do we get here again? Why are we doing the same thing? Why are we rehearsing the same things? And like some of it didn't go away. We hit it once in a while. We'll run into that where we're
just this
both
last
sitting
week.
in separate rooms going, we're not completely great yet. Like we still run into this thing. And I think like there's also this thing like you can't go into marriage thinking you're going to change somebody.
Right.
You can't go into marriage thinking, well, this is going to
Now,
get
why
better.
not? Why not?
Because that's not why you marry somebody. You don't marry somebody to fix them, first of all.
But, a lot of people would say, but he's got to change or she's got to change because I'm not getting my needs met.
Well, they're not there to meet your needs. Ish.
You want to go ahead and elaborate on that?
I mean, there's nights in our marriage. I know I've gone to bed. I wasn't done. Like I wasn't done talking. I wasn't done expressing my feelings. I wasn't done crying. And you just went to sleep because you had to go to work.
Yeah.
And then I had to talk to my real husband.
Who is?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm a pit of neediness. Like, not always, but
So would you describe yourself as low maintenance, high maintenance? What?
oh, I was an only child. So there's that. Like I
And I
got
wasn't.
and the youngest of all the cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like
And the darling of the church.
yeah. And so I just thought everything should always be about me all the time.
Yeah.
And like at least 30% of the days still do. So um but you know, I think one thing you learn as you go through marriage is hopefully is just not you always like you are my husband, like you are just everything to me, like you're my best friend. I tell young girls all the time, like it's true, you can marry your best friend, like true love is real. You can go to sleep next to the person you love best in the whole world every night. You can. It's real. True love's real. So there's that, but as you go through marriage, I think you hopefully you want to love the other person better. Like the more I've known you and the longer we've been married, the more I want to be there for you. Like I want to love you more than I love myself.
Yeah.
And that was a process, like, because having you love me, it's all bound up together, right?
Right.
Like you're meeting my needs, I'm meeting your needs, we're there for each other, we're going through life together, but hopefully you can like progress to where you're wanting to like love sacrificially. But what I was going to say is like you can't just decide that person's going to change, or you have to know when you get married some things may not change.
Right.
And you have to weigh, you have to count the cost of building that tower, like Jesus talks about following him. Like, is this a hill to die on or is it not? Like when you're in a courting relationship and you're considering marriage, you have to decide, like, if we continue to hit this wall relationally, or like when we fight, is what, like, you just have to think about it.
So there's a couple things to, if anybody's watching this and they're just now dating or they're thinking about getting married, I would counsel you to spend a lot of time with each other before the ring gets on the finger.
Definitely.
Because what Kristen's talking about is, are you going to wind up, and I would counsel you to go ahead and get in a fight. I mean, pick a fight. Really, I know that's not the most godly. Yeah, get a good fight in. I mean,
if you don't know how, practice.
If you don't know,
important.
Ask us, and
it's a good skill to have. And fair fighting. Like, there's got to be rules.
Talk about that. Hang on, we'll talk about that in a second. But spend enough time that you actually know each other.
Yeah, and not just with each other, like in other settings, like. Watch that person worship. Watch that person use their spiritual gifts. Watch that. How do they serve when they're around your family? How does that person treat your family, your mama? How do they treat their mama?
I think a lot of times people are so consumed about getting their needs met, and so they're looking to this other person, and they overlook all the warning signs. And they think, oh, well, I'll work on that later. And they have some idea that they are going to be able to change the person. You can't change the person.
Or that God will change them, or that things will change. It'll get better.
Right. But here is a key. If God's going to change them, he's going to change you too. And so a lot of times I see couples, because I do a lot of marriage counseling over the years, and a lot of times what I see is the person thought, well, God was supposed to change him, or God was supposed to change her, but they don't think about the fact that God was going to change them. And so it just becomes a train wreck, because they're expecting God to just do something to the other person, and they're trying real hard to force that, instead of saying, Lord, okay, I got myself into this. What can you do to fix us both?
If we're a train, I don't think we're on a track right now. Are we going in a direction with this
podcast? This is the way you do things. I have it all planned out usually.
Okay.
I thought you liked this.
Yeah,
So,
but we got to circle back.
okay, all right,
Circle
circling
back.
back. So well, I got to pause it. All right, so let's talk about when we first got married. We would have some really intense fights, right?
Well, I mean, let's clarify.
Arguments,
Yes.
not violent, nothing like that.
Right.
But
In this day and age, you gotta.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So how did we overcome? And you said we were both stubborn
And opinionated.
which we're not at all.
Not
anymore.
never.
Very opinionated people, very stubborn. Wanted to win the argument.
What'd you say was a song you used to sing growing up?
Oh, so there was a Cat Stevens song,
Looking for a
hard-headed woman, and so I used to sing that, and then I realized, oh, well, okay, I didn't even know that was a prayer, but the Lord took care of that.
Got it.
Got a hard-headed woman. So how did two hard-headed people who never wanted to be wrong, how'd we work through that? How did the Lord change us to the point where those? Well, okay.
Man, we loved each
Talk
other.
about.
We love each other.
We love each other.
Oh yeah.
Talk about the ground rules.
Okay. How did I come up with them?
You didn't. I think we did together.
Oh.
We started going to marriage conferences.
Oh yeah. So we said, first of all, we'll never go to bed angry with one another.
Now that was you. You told me that when we first started dating.
We did stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning fighting.
We woke up one time in the middle of the night and had a fight.
I had a drink. I got mad at him because I thought he was doing in real life what he was doing in the dream.
Oh yeah, that.
And then
that used to.
and then we fought.
I'd wake up with these fists hitting me, like slapping me. I'm like, what? I didn't do it.
And then we couldn't go back to sleep until we made up.
But now, see, I do remember things.
Okay, yeah, you do.
We used to have this water bed, and we'd spoon, and Kristen would spoon me, and chase me around the bed. So it's a queen size water bed, except it was we slept it like it was a twin. And it had wooden sides to it. And my face would be like up against the wood. Well, we had 3 dogs. This is back when we were in Jackson. We had 3 dogs, and they would sometimes bark at something in the middle of the night. They were just going crazy one night. So it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. I get up to shut them up. And now I come back to the bed. Well, she hasn't woken up. Before kids, she used to sleep like the dead. Not after kids, but before kids. And so I'm looking at the bed and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Because she's inched over even further to the wood, and there's no way I can get in there without disturbing her. But I know my wife. I know that if I actually sleep on the other side of the bed and she wakes up and I'm all the way on the other side of the bed, she's going to go, "What are you doing?" and think that I was trying to get away from her. And so I'm having to think all this through, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Well, I'll try to wedge myself in. And so I'm kind of trying to get into the bed. This is a long time ago, 30 years ago. I'm trying to wedge myself in, and it woke her up. And this is before kids, when you used to be able to sleep and not have to wake up.
Right.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" And it was the biggest fight in the world. I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." And we just start. And I mean one of those fights where she locks herself in the bathroom. Locks herself in the bathroom. I'm sitting out on the couch. What the heck do I do now? So how did we get there from that to, like, you? I don't know if she said that, but we really don't have a lot of fights. In fact, we had a big argument this past week, and it was the first one in a long time.
Over a garage door clicker.
That's not what it's about.
It was about a garage door clicker.
It wasn't.
You just made me sound really bad.
Okay,
So.
all right. It was about a garage door opener.